All right, so let's say you're about to head off to college. All those good grades got you in, you're psyched about your dream school. But, did anyone ever give you the real rundown on what to expect beyond the classes themselves?
Yeah, that's what we're diving into today, the unique challenges and strategies that come up for autistic students making that jump to college.
And it's interesting because we talk a lot about the social side of things, right?
Right. And that's definitely huge. But what's so interesting about this source, navigating college life as an autistic student from cheap ABA, is it digs even deeper. Like there's this whole other layer they point out that often gets overlooked.
You mean like that executive function thing?
Exactly. Think of it like the control center in your brain that handles planning, organization, keeping track of time. Honestly, stuff even neurotypical students struggle with, but without the right support. Those challenges, they can become major hurdles for autistic students.
It's that moment you realize college expects you to just be an adult, but no one gave you the instruction manual.
Precisely. Remember back in high school, you had bells, teachers reminding you about deadlines, that structured environment.
Yeah.
College throws you right into the deep end of independence, which is exciting, but that also means needing a whole new set of skills.
And the article really emphasizes how this whole independence thing, that's a big area where autistic students might hit some unexpected bumps in the road.
Totally. There's even this one story in there, a student who aced his classes, no problem, but daily life.
Yeah.
Whole other story, like forgetting to eat, dorm room's a disaster, laundry's this mythical creature he's heard rumors about.
Mhm.
It really highlights how that lack of structure, it can make even those basic tasks feel super overwhelming.
That's such a good point. We get so caught up on the academics, but then bam, you're
Yeah.
responsible for everything. Meals, laundry, bills. It's like the syllabus of life got a whole lot longer.
Exactly. And this is where their emphasis on planning for this transition early on, that really stuck with me. They're saying, don't wait till senior year. Start building those essential life skills throughout the teen years.
So less cramming for the adulting exam, more like building those life muscles over time.
Exactly. Think of it like you wouldn't just hand someone a bike helmet and say, good luck in rush hour traffic, right?
Mm.
You start with training wheels, maybe a park, build their confidence and skills gradually. It's the same idea with this transition to college.
That makes a lot of sense. And I like how they even use that analogy in the article, talking about a toolkit for organization, things like visual timers, flow charts for routines. Have you found those kinds of things helpful in your work?
Oh, incredibly,
Mm.
especially when you tailor them to the individual student. Like I worked with this one student, visual schedules were his thing. We made this whole color-coded chart for his dorm room, every step from waking up to studying to bedtime. It not only helped him stay organized, but also cut down on that anxiety of forgetting stuff.
It's like a personalized roadmap for navigating each day, right?
Exactly.
And speaking of roadmaps, this article really hammered home the importance of self-advocacy skills.
It's like having a compass to find your way around that whole college world, knowing how to ask for what you need.
And like a good explorer, gotta know how to use that compass, right? The article talks about how important it is for students to learn how to explain what they need, ask for help.
It's all about empowering them, to be active in their own education, not just along for the ride.
They gave a great example about this, actually. A student who needed a certain type of lighting in their dorm helped with sensory overload.
Oh, I remember that one.
And they were kind of hesitant to ask at first, but once they did, the college was totally on board with helping out.
See, that's what I love to hear. It shows you how many colleges want to support their students, but I got to know what those needs are in the first place.
It's like that saying, right? You don't get what you don't ask for. Speaking of asking, the article also mentioned connecting with the disabilities office early on.
Yeah, that's a step a lot of students, they might not even think about. Like, I did fine in high school without much extra help, but college is a whole different ballgame.
Totally. Having that support system ready to go, especially those first few weeks, can make a huge difference. And the article even pointed out, colleges aren't required to follow those high school IEPs, right? But having that documentation, it can be a really useful starting point for those conversations.
Absolutely gives them a framework to understand the student's needs, tailor that support, building bridges, not barriers.
I like that, building bridges. Now, one thing from the cheap ABA piece that I think resonates even beyond just autistic students, it's that pressure to go straight to a four-year university.
Oh, yeah. It's like the default path we're always told, isn't it?
But the reality is that's not the only path to success, right?
Right.
And sometimes that means thinking about different routes, like community college first. Actually, the article really highlighted this as a valuable option. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's fantastic they included that perspective.
Yeah.
Community college, it can be such a good stepping stone, right?
Hmm.
Let students get used to the demands of college life, but at their own pace.
It's like dip your toes in the water before you do the whole cannonball.
Exactly. You gain experience, you build that confidence, and let's be real, it's often easier on the wallet too, which is a huge factor for a lot of families.
Big time. And for some students, that transition to a smaller environment, it can make all the difference. You get to build those relationships with professors, explore what you're interested in, and work on those self-advocacy skills even more before maybe moving on to a bigger university later on.
If that's the goal, yeah, it's about finding what fits you, not just following some preset path. But no matter what path you're on, this next point from the article, I think it's crucial. They kept coming back to this idea. It's okay to not be okay.
That one really hit home for me too.
College is hard, period. There's this pressure to have it all figured out, be thriving all the time. The reality is everyone struggles at some point.
Absolutely. And especially for autistic students who are dealing with these additional challenges on top of everything else, having that permission to ask for help is so important.
Couldn't agree more. The article talks about building that support network. Friends, family, therapists, mentors, whoever it is, people you can lean on when things get tough.
Like building your own hype squad.
All right.
People who get it, who can cheer you on, but also be there when things get real.
Totally. There's this quote, actually, from a recent grad in the article. They said, having even just a few people I could totally be myself around, that was everything. Really shows you how important those genuine connections are, especially with all the ups and downs college throws your way.
For sure. It reminds us you're not alone in those tough moments, which is something they emphasize a lot throughout the article.
Absolutely. They wrap it up by reminding us, that there are tons of successful people who face these same kinds of challenges, and they came out stronger on the other side. It's about embracing your path, celebrating those wins, and knowing your journey's valid every step of the way.
So important, especially when it feels like the world wants everyone to fit in the same box. This whole deep dive's been so eye-opening, really getting into those nuances of college life for autistic students that we don't always talk about.
Yeah.
But it also makes you wonder, what can colleges be doing to create a more inclusive, supportive environment for all their students, not just some?
Right. Like having those accessibility services, that's a start, but it's got to go deeper than that. It's about building that understanding from the ground up, acceptance, belonging. Like, imagine if more colleges trained their faculty and staff about neurodiversity, had sensory-friendly spaces on campus, or even peer mentoring programs to connect neurotypical and neurodivergent students. Those are just a few ideas, but the point is, when we prioritize inclusivity, everyone benefits.
It's moving beyond just accommodations to that true sense of you belong here just as you are. And recognizing the diversity, including neurodiversity, it makes the learning experience richer for everyone. So wherever you are on your own journey with college, student, parent, educator, whatever, remember, knowledge is power. Arm yourself with the tools, the resources, the support you need to thrive. And never underestimate the power of your own voice to advocate for a more inclusive, more equitable education for absolutely everyone.